5 states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Oregon, all at high risk of election-related militia violence. That's according to a study by Militia Watch and the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. But who are these groups? NBC News correspondent Cal Perry got rare access to the leaders of this growing movement.
Self-described militias are becoming a regular sight on the streets of many American cities, often dressed head-to-toe in military fatigues, often with firearms strapped to their chest.
We are security, and we do uphold constitutional rights for people, whether that's, I tell people this a lot of the times, whether that's our constitutional rights or others.
Nick Alsager leads the group BEAR, Brothers on Equal Amendment Rights.
Do you think that's inciting, standing on the street with a...
No, because you got to remember, you have the right to hold a weapon no matter what. I think it's people making an assumption based on what they believe.
We tried that earlier today, they separated.
We've seen you out in Frankfurt, in Louisville. Why does your group come out on the streets?
To make sure everything remains peaceful when they're out there protesting.
Tara Brandow is the leader of another militia that she says has over 80 members. We've seen them outside Kentucky's Capitol, heavily armed at rallies against COVID restrictions and on the edge of demonstrations for Breonna Taylor.
We don't want the towns burnt down. We don't want anybody shooting each other.
But law enforcement says a militia presence makes their job more difficult.
It does not help the situation. It only exacerbates the situation.
The police are doing all they can, but they got their hands tied and a lot of people against them.
Guys, we've got to keep our composure. You understand? We cannot put our hands on somebody like that.
And the increased presence of these militias has led many in the city to take precautions.
Justice! Now! We have the Revolutionary Black Panther Party who is doing our security.
Are you worried about the presence of militias in Kentucky?
I'm definitely worried about the presence of militias in Kentucky, especially since the legislative body that I serve in voted to allow people to open carry without a permit. Our legislative body has been very clear that it supports institutional and systemic racism. It's sending the message to these white militias that you're welcome here in Kentucky.
Do you think that some of these white militia groups are racist?
Well, some are, and some of the black groups are racist, too. I don't vouch for either one of them.
Southern Poverty Law Center has photos of you carrying Confederate flags. Some people say that's racist.
Well, some people say it's racist. Some people don't. People in my group are Puerto Rican, blacks, Cubans. I've got a mixture.
These groups so visible now that this became a defining moment of the first debate.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
So you thought it did kind of speak to your group?
I think it did. I think it did. And I think the reason why he said to, stand back and stand by was, he sees it the same way.
And like many, he fears the election could bring unrest.
Are we talking civil war? Because people say civil war in these groups all the time.
I think that's a possibility. I think it's probably a really close possibility. And though most people will try to make it a black and white thing, I don't think it's a black and white thing. It's a right and left thing.
Cal Perry joins us now from Lansing, Michigan. Cal, do we have any sense of how many of these militias are out there and who specifically is joining them?
Yeah, we do. The Southern Poverty Law Center is tracking 181 of them. There could be more, of course. Those are the ones that they have identified. As for who is joining them, I have to tell you, the coronavirus has been an absolute boost and a boon for the recruitment on these militias, especially when you listen to the way the president talks about these lockdowns as though they are a breach of liberty. That attracts a lot of people to these groups, Allison.
Cal, let's talk about the thread that links all of them. Is there one particular or central connective thread or belief that runs through all of these groups? And are all or most of them Trump supporters?
It's interesting. I would say most of them are sort of a libertarian view that they think government should not be a part of their lives. That's why you see them standing out on the streets. But no, they don't agree on a lot of things. Those armed group members we spoke to, they condemned the plot against the governor of Michigan here. They said they don't support Trump. But that said, in the past, when you have these militia groups, and most of them are libertarian, there's usually no connection to the president. There are a large number of groups who do side with President Trump, Allison.
All right, Cal Perry in Michigan, thanks so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.